It's a little crappy, but hopefully it'll work.
We got that first part, didn't we?
Yeah, I ain't worried. I'm not worried about it. We're just going to keep
Yeah,
going.
sure. I'm down.
All right, because I've got camera 2 running, so
Okay.
we got it covered. All right. Hello and welcome to this segment of Get the News Straight. I'm your host, Glenn Sutphin. With me today in this segment is Chris Dorsey, political pundit. Let's get into the Richard Gutjahr incident and his alleged. I don't even know what you would call it because it seems like he's worse than Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe. Every time he shows up, stuff happens. You know, it's don't be anywhere near this Richard Gutjahr when he's on vacation or walking around because a psyop's going to happen on you. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's getting to the point it's ridiculous with these Gladio drills overseas and the Rex drills here at home. I mean, you don't. I don't even want to cover the news anymore because it's not really news. It's all psyop, and it's getting rather old because they're beyond sloppy with these drills. But what's your take on the situation there?
Well, it's a really interesting scenario where this guy Richard Gutjahr, who is a German video journalist, and he is alleged to have videotaped the Nice, France, Bastille Day rampage, which involved a patsy in a truck driving over a crowd of individuals and mutilating and killing 84 or 85, I forget which one it is, 84 or 85 people.
I have to correct you. It wasn't really mutilating because there was no carnage at the scene.
Allegedly.
Okay, we'll go.
And at the same time, when he's allegedly driving this truck, which, how did he get the truck? We don't really know. Did he steal the truck? I mean, I couldn't get into a truck like that and drive anywhere. I would stall out. I'm not trained to drive that kind of vehicle. But it seemed like he was pretty smooth with it. And also, he had allegedly bodies and fake guns in the back of the truck.
And explosives and AIDS and all kind. I mean,
right. Every aspect of this story is BS. But the biggest, I would say, smoking gun to point out the BS is this guy Richard Gutjahr, who just happened to be right out on a balcony to film this.
Which I have to comment on that because how could he be on a balcony and be in front of the truck filming at the same time?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good question because
all the video I saw was from the front. You got this skateboarder that looks at him and then walks out into the road. I mean, it was all from the front watching the vehicle come in. And then he goes, I was on the balcony. You couldn't be out in the crowd and on the balcony. I mean, there.
Okay. Well, then we that's getting into the real nonsense. But what we want to point out is that Richard Gutjahr is married to Enoch Will, and she is a very high-ranking Israeli Secret Intelligence Service officer. She is one of the highest-ranking members of ISIS that one can find, and she is a member of the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. She is an associate of every single prime minister for the past 20 years. She is a member of the Mossad, and she is part of a top-secret IDF in Harvard. And the fact that this guy, Richard Gutjahr, was there to be in perfect position, just like the 5 dancing Israelis during 9/11, to capture the event. Because the Israeli government, not only do they carry out these events, they have to videotape them to be able to control the narrative that's put out in the media in regard to these events. So that's what happened in
Well, getting on that point real quick, they commandeered all the CCTV evidence and said you couldn't put it out. So yeah, they are controlling this.
Just like the FBI, the Virginia State Police, the New York State Police, the CIA, and all other intelligence agencies in the United States of America did after 9/11. So we could say, like, oh, well, obviously there's the video of the missile hitting the Pentagon. There was no plane. Obviously, where we could pick this apart, immediately. So that's what they would get out in front of it, and they said, oh, we're going to confiscate all the cameras, and the only video evidence, the only evidence of any kind that comes from to verify that these events take place the way they say it does is an agent of the Mossad, Richard Gutjahr, and he did this in Nice, France, and then, ironically enough, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, in
about 2 weeks,
Munich, Germany, there is another Gladio-style staged government PSYOP event shooting in Munich, Germany, and again, Richard Gutjahr is the individual that captures pictures and video, and I'm the one that's saying the video is Richard Gutjahr's. Now, it's associated with somebody named John DeConner, but really, who else is out there? It's not associated with anybody else's name because John DeConner leads nowhere. There is no John DeConner. He's not a journalist.
It could be a nom de plume.
Could be a nom de plume, but what's not a nom de plume is the pictures that appear in numerous mainstream media sites immediately. The first images are attributed to Richard Gutjahr, who took a picture not long after the event took place. That's the first eyewitness in Huffington Post and in all the other mainstream media posts where Richard Gutjahr says, quote unquote, it's like something out of a bad movie in describing the incident that took place in Munich, Germany, that this guy is the #1 source for the past 2 Gladio-style drills in Europe, and that he is an agent of the Mossad, and this fits in with the Mossad MO of not only carrying out these events, but also being the exclusive video reference
source
and source for this. Yeah. Now we can also tie that into site intelligence and Rita Katz, who's always the first one who comes up with the Bin Laden Al-Qaeda videos, and also the ISIS videos through the ISIS magazine. And who is the one that has the only access to this? The Mossad? Well, of course, if anybody knows what's really going on, the Mossad and the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service, they created Al-Qaeda, they created ISIS, they created, or Daesh or ISIL, whatever anybody wants to call them.
Whatever week.
And it's obvious, we've caught them, from the beginning to the end, and everywhere in between, we have laid out exactly what they're doing, and it's not difficult. These race war psyops that they're doing in the United States, within an hour always, not just us, but usually we're among the first, we debunk their psyop. We say what the name of the people involved are, who they're associated with, as far as the crisis acting corporations go, and the intelligence agencies of different nations. We out the DGSE from France, we out the FSB from Russia, out the CIA, the DHS, the FBI, and local law enforcement here in the United States, the MI6 in Great Britain, and they're all working together to form this one world government and confuse everyone and get them to the point where we don't have any rights anymore. we don't have any natural rights because, well, we have them, but they've been usurped because God gives us our rights and government wishes
our rights,
to treat them as privileges.
are fundamental. They're fundamental. They can't be taken away.
Right.
But the government tells you this permitted stuff is your rights, and it's bullshit. You can't. Getting to the analogy you always say about, God makes man, man makes government. Getting to that analogy, it'd be like if I made a chair, and then I let that chair rule my life. That's what we did with government. We made government, and then government now rules over the citizens. And I'm so sick of it. It's like, you people, if you want under that system, fine. Be under that system. I'm not under that system. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to live that way, fine. I am not forced into that box. I made that box, therefore I cannot get back into that box. If you want to be in that box, be in that.
And I think you point out the absurdity of the idea that government thinks that they can give the people their rights. That we grant you these privileges. We have jurisdiction over you. We're a two-dimensional creation of man, but yet we have jurisdiction over man. And this is, this is replacing our Creator, our God, with government. And that's what they wish to do. And I don't want to have anything to do with it because you can't get much more satanic or blasphemous than taking some sort of two-dimensional creation of man, what you and I are.
It's not even a creation. It's an idea.
That is better than what God can create. I'm a man, and I know I can create a government. I create my own government. I self-govern. But I know I am nothing in comparison to the creator of me and everything else. I don't have the capability of even creating myself. So how could I put myself at a level of a God? But that's what these individuals that push for this omnipresent, all-powerful, one-world government wish. They wish to replace God with government. And it's
they have. They made their God the government.
Yeah.
I mean, their religion is government. And I'm not religious, so I don't follow that religion. I don't consent. Look up consent of the governed people.
Yeah.
I not consent to do this.
We ordain the government, and this is what our documents say. We ordain the government for the purposes. We the people ordain the government for our purposes. And
I found my copy.
Yeah, absolutely. We use that Alex Jones BS citizen rule book. Yeah, there's a big difference between that. So should we hit Alex Jones now, because I don't know what we got.
You had him tied in with the Richard Gutjahr thing, so yeah, we can get on to.
Okay. This is very interesting because Alex Jones, who is an agent of Israel and is a complete lying sack of Zionist garbage, just like Anderson Cooper, just like Wolf Blitzer, just Tom Brokaw before him.
Any media.
Right. He's a media whore. And what is happening now is these false flag events that are taking place, Alex Jones is reversing himself because he's now saying, yeah, the government narrative, oh yeah, Muslim extremists. Oh no, it's not Israel. Look at these guys out there. Oh, he'll call us white supremacists. Now, you and I are not white. We do have the similar complexion, but it's more like beige or pink or
peachy pink, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Unless I get out in the sun and then I'm brown.
We're of European ancestry, but what we will say is, I will say it, God is supreme. I'm not supreme. I'm not white. And I'm a European nationalist, but I will also say this, that you know, when I was abducted by the police last summer, abducted by the Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service and the police, and it wasn't the first time, but I will say, I will take the side of any nationality of human being over any law enforcement or government agent every day of the week. If there is someone who is a traitor, who is of our peerage, who represents the government, and someone who is an African of African descent, I will always take the side of the individual of African descent. And I will say that when I was abducted and I was beaten up and taken off the street, was African descent, people, I should say, of African descent, a man of African descent, who saved my butt, who picked up the camera, started filming the police beating me up, witnessed the police erasing the video on the scene. And, you know, I just want to make that very clear. We're not taking sides, although we do talk about the European genocide, the genocide of the so-called white people, where, you know, before World War II, 29% of the world population was of European descent, and now we're down to 8%. This is definitely a concerted effort, the European genocide, but certainly we're not going to take the side of the police.
Well, it's genocide total.
And this is a good segue, that Alex Jones was saying that the folks who were questioning the false flag attacks and blaming Israel are allegedly white supremacists who are funded by Saudi Arabia. Now, we've already established on Al-Alam, on Press TV, on Al-Attajiyah, you and I, many others have done this before us too, that the Saudi royal family is Jewish, that the Saudi Arabian government is a Zionist front, and that they do the bidding of the state of Israel. And you guys can look into our history with that. It's on this YouTube page. And also, we are not white supremacists. That is a pejorative. We will definitely take the side of African Americans and any others, and European Americans, and Europeans or Africans or anybody who is getting done dirty by any government agent, including European American government agents. We're going to take you down if you're dirty. It doesn't matter what your ethnic background is.
Yeah, I'm against the elite totally. I'm not, you know, I don't. The elite are black, the elite are white, the elite are Jewish, they're Catholic, they're Protestant, they're all mixes.
Right. It's mostly a Jewish operation.
Yeah, they're all Zionist Jews.
They're all Zionist Jews.
Well, communism is a Zionist plan. It's a Jewish.
Right, and what we're seeing now, in played out, and what we've been seeing probably since the protocols were first published, is we're seeing a playing out of the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. Because it's interesting, folks say that was it was made up by the intelligence arm of the Imperial Russian Tsar and this and that. Man, that was made a long time ago, and that stuff that they were writing about, it didn't happen yet. And it's all happened throughout time, and it's even happening now. So you can say, anyone can say whatever they wish to about the protocols of the learned elders of Zion, but it's much more prophetic than Nostradamus or Jimmy the Greek or any other so-called predictive, program, or somebody who's able to see into the future. This is what the plan was, and this is what's being carried out. That being said, you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter if someone comes to me and we think we're going to go follow the money, we're going to start neutralizing and executing our enemies who are controlling the monetary the communication / media and the military of the one world government, I know we're going to come up with mostly what are called Jews. But it doesn't matter. We could come up with anyone. It doesn't matter. Whoever we find, whoever's the richest individual in every town, they need to be neutralized. Whoever is the most powerful government official in every town, they need to be neutralized. And this is all across the world, and we're going to start in the United States. So it doesn't matter. We know it's the Jews, but it doesn't matter. We could be proven completely wrong, and I go, oh, it's not? Okay, well, we're going to have to neutralize these individuals anyways. We're going to have to
whoever's in charge,
their system regardless of who it is and what their motivation is.
I don't care if it's Jewish. I don't care if it's Martian.
Right.
Green, purple guys.
Right.
You know what? They got to be stopped.
They got to be stopped. They got to be neutralized.
If they're reptilian, they pull their face off, they're lizards, they got to be stopped. I don't care. I mean, It would be very interesting if they did that, because this Bad B movie needs some lizard people.
Right.
I mean, it's, but,
well, here, I do want to point out that real quick, because when we get into reptilians, I want to point out that it's the reptilian brain. And when we start talking about people being evil and satanic, we can just say, if you don't like that, you go, okay, well, you don't like the way we're wording that. Okay, then they haven't developed past their reptilian brain, the back of their brain, not the front of their brain, which is where...
They're not using their frontal lobe.
They're not using their frontal lobe. Okay, there we go. Explain.
It's not blank. They just don't know that it exists because they haven't gone up past and evolved into their frontal lobe.
Right.
I mean, they're the people I call troglodytes, and that's what they are. They reverted back to troglodytes, which were in the timeline of humans. Troglodytes.
And I think sociopathy plays a key role in all this.
Well, it's all mind war. I mean, they've even said it. They've gone from the Psi war, the psyop war, to now mind war. Mm-hmm. And their message, Alex Jones did get it right. There is a war on for your mind. They are trying to control your mind, how you think, what you do, and they're controlling you through it. And it's, I already learned how to control myself. I don't need somebody to do it for me. And I think we'll end that segment on, end this segment on that, and we'll go to the next segment. So for this segment, signing off.
All right.